We're joined by Arkansas student athletes Odise Tony and Trey Wade. Student athletes are available for questions. When you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll bring the microphone around for you. We'll start with this gentleman over here on the right here.
Hey, this question may be for both of you guys. I'm sure you've gotten into your New Mexico State prep at this point. Just curious your thoughts on number 0, Teddy Allen, and then how do you feel like you're equipped with this bigger starting lineup that you have to defend him? Looks like you have a number of bodies that match him from a physicality and size standpoint that you can throw his way.
Teddy is he's a good offensive player. So a lot of focus is going to be on him a lot. So the big lineup we have, we could switch to 1 through 5. Anybody could guard him, especially in transition. So I feel comfortable with the versatility we have to be able to slow him down a little bit.
Yeah, like you said, we could switch. We had the ability to do that, and just him scoring over length all night, I think that'd be a big challenge for him. So, we're gonna make it as hard as we can for him.
Go ahead. Yep.
As for both guys, maybe Trey, you could take it first, and then Odise. Devo came off the bench, scored 14. I got to add it up, but Hog Stats, he knows all the stats. I think he said that Devo's averaging 14 in NCAA tournament games, including last year, so I think that's 5 games. And then he's averaging about 8 in the others. Not bad, but what do you think it is about him that makes him play so well in NCAA tournament games? Maybe Trey and then Odise could take that.
I honestly have no idea. I guess he's just real good in postseason, but he's a great spark we need, and we hope he can continue to produce.
Just pick it off what Trey was saying. Devo is an amazing player. He's just a gifted player. He have games that he could just snap and go off, and that's what we need from him. The last couple of games he's been doing that, and he's been doing it very well coming off the bench.
For both guys, JD's had more than a handful of games this year where he's picked up a couple fouls in the first half, and then he's come back and had a pretty big second half offensively. Just what do you guys make of those runs, and just kind of how he can get on one of those sprees kind of after refocusing at the break?
That's JD. He's a scorer. We expect that from him every game, and we do our best ability to get him good looks. He struggled with fouling early, and I challenge him all the time to kind of fall away from that. But yeah, he's our scorer, and we expect that out of him.
Yeah, we expect a lot out of JD, especially if we know if he's not going because he's in foul trouble. Just know the next man up. But once he come back in the game, we know he's going to be that spark and get himself going again. And he's just an amazing player that he could get himself going anyways.
Go ahead, John.
John Morrow with the AP. Just wondering, how much did last year's experience help you, or might help contribute to you knowing where you are and knowing where you need to get, and maybe settle you guys in some ways, for either of you?
Well, neither of us were here last year.
That's my bad.
It's all good. It's all good. Neither of us were here last year, but we rely on those guys who have that experience to kind of carry us and, help us with anything we need. But, that experience from them making that run last year definitely helped this team a lot.
I guess in that sense, Trey, how much do you lean on those guys in knowing that, in knowing they've been there, and, what are some of the things that they tell you at this point?
They don't really tell us much. Just as far as those guys, they matured a lot over that past year, and it showed, and it's helped us a lot. So that's the biggest thing they can do, is just kind of lead by the example and experience.
Go ahead.
Does this surprise you guys that Muss found time to get down to the Bills Stadium and spend time with the Bills head coach?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Muss is always doing pretty interesting stuff to, excite the team and the fans, so it's pretty cool that he did that.
What did he share with you guys about going down there?
He actually didn't tell us anything about it. I just kind of seen it on social media like you guys.
Just kind of laugh at it?
Yeah.
Audis, just how has your first NCAA tournament experience been so far? Is it kind of what you expected? Anything surprised you?
Yeah, it's exactly what I imagined. It's bright lights, you know. It's amazing. It gave me chills just by walking in the building and seeing March Madness everywhere. Because when I was younger, I always watched it on TV, watching teams, you know, growing up. But it's just amazing just to be able to play in the tournament my first time.
And then Trey, how does Coach Musselman kind of frame conversations about, you know, not overlooking some of these lower seeded teams, especially a team like New Mexico State that pulled an upset?
Yeah, he's been there before. He emphasized it a lot over the past few days through film. You know, he's been there before. He's played them certain teams, so he know how important it is to really dial in and break down these teams because they're obviously they're pretty good. So, you know, he emphasizes that a lot.
Yes, maybe a couple for each guy. Maybe Trey and then Adis. I think it was the LSU game in Tampa. I think Devo only played like 5 or 6 minutes. Pretty uncharacteristic. A lot of guys might not deal with that too well. Then he played pretty well against A&M. Obviously played well last night. What did you think about that? What does that say about Devo that he can, you know, not play very much and then it doesn't seem to impact him negatively?
Well, not so much of Devo, but our whole team. It's just, you know, you never know who's going to have a good game, and I think that makes our team very special. You just never know who's going to be the guy that night. So, but as far as for Devo, you know, that's just him. You know, he's hungry. He's always going to be hungry, and when the opportunity presents itself, he takes it like the rest of us.
Especially knowing like you're not playing a lot, you know, it can frustrate you a lot, but you could tell like with our team and the guys we have on our team, they don't let it affect us that much. We just be ready when your name called, you know. What Coach always say, you just be ready. You never know when your time will come, and he always capitalized on that. Even when he's not playing that much or not playing as good as he want to play, he still stay locked in.
And you guys only had 5 turnovers as a team last night. I didn't know this, but Kayla told me that that's an NCAA tournament record for Arkansas. Arkansas's played like, I don't know, 70 NCAA tournament games. What do you think about that? What was the key to handling the ball so well? And Stanley played 40 minutes and did everything except turn the ball over. What do you think about what Stanley did and what you guys did as a team?
We just Coach been preaching to us a lot, even beginning of the season, about taking care of the ball, and that's. With Stan playing 40 minutes without no turnover is amazing, because it's hard to play a 40-minute game without turning the ball over. And once you're doing that, you're doing something great, you know.
Yeah, I just think a lot of times of us being unsuccessful in games is us beating ourselves by turning the ball over. So Coach emphasizes that a lot, and you know I think that was a big key of us winning last night was not turning it over. So.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Mike Harrington, Buffalo News. Trey, I do have a basketball question, but first I wanted to ask you, did you see Coach Muss's wife's Instagram of him jumping on the table at a Bills game? Did you see that one or no?
No, I didn't see that one.
Okay. The basketball question is this. You guys come into the tournament yesterday. We saw all the upsets. How difficult is the first game for the top teams, and do you feel a little more comfortable just in the surrounding and the tournament now? Is this one going to be a little bit more of a regular game, even though New Mexico State's a 12 seed, kind of like Vermont was?
Yeah, well, I hope so. I hope we got our first game jitters out, playing in front of the crowd, playing in this atmosphere, and hope we can come out a little more relaxed and play a little better than we started out. But yeah, I hope those jitters are gone. So that's what we're gonna look forward to.
It's for Adis, I guess since you missed the Tennessee game with that, I guess it was more of a foot injury than an ankle injury. You played 38, 39, and 40 minutes. It's just because you walk us through kind of the recovery process there and how it's felt the last few games.
Since the Tennessee game I missed, I had been doing treatment like 48 hours a day, just trying to recover off of that. Doing whatever I could just to keep it pain tolerance down, so I could be able to play. And Matt, our trainer, he did very well at doing that. So with treatment every day, I'm still doing treatment now, just to keep the pain tolerance down and be able to move and things like that. How I usually do.
Okay, go ahead.
That's for both guys. I guess I can't remember exactly when it was. It was in the second half. There was Vermont took a shot, and Finn Sullivan jumped way up. He was number 15, and Devo kind of got under him, accidentally and knocked him over, and the guy got up like he was wanting to fight, and Devo, got right in his face, and thankfully, cooler heads prevailed and all that. But I wonder what you guys remember about that, and I guess what does that say about Devo? He doesn't seem like he's going to take, much of anything off somebody else. Like he's ready to defend himself if need be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, obviously it was an accident. He jumped up and kind of landed funny on top of Devo, but Devo ain't gonna back down for nobody. I actually expected that reaction out of him, so it was just the heat of the moment. But at the end of the day, we were trying to win a ball game, so that was the biggest thing.
It was just a heated moment. The guy from Vermont thought he did it on purpose, but it wasn't intentionally. And Devo wasn't going for anything the man was trying to say to him, so he was just trying to take it for himself, and we just had to get the situation under control.
Any other questions for our student athletes? All right, thanks for your time, gentlemen.
Appreciate that.
See you again, Coach. Good. All right, we're joined now by Arkansas head coach Eric Musselman. Coach, maybe open up with a statement and maybe talk about your busy morning you had already. You've seen on social media.
Yeah, just, we're excited to still be alive and have great respect for New Mexico State. Obviously, we had the opportunity to watch them for most of the game yesterday. And yeah, we've had a couple different film sessions, and in between the film sessions, I was able to go over to the Bills practice site and meet some people, as well as go into the stadium.
Great. All right, we'll take questions for Coach Musselman. We can start with John.
Hey, Eric. John Worrell with the Associated Press. When you watch tape and see a guy like Teddy Buckets, Teddy Allen, and some of the unorthodox ways that he can score and do things, have you had a player like that before in your time, and how do you go about containing somebody with such an unorthodox style?
He's really good, but I've also game planned for Kobe Bryant and LeBron James and Dwayne Wade, and so I mean, he presents a lot of problems because of his ability to draw fouls. He has unlimited range. Much of the difficulty for opposing teams to guard J.D. Note is when guys take difficult shots and then have the ability to convert those into baskets. Certainly the performance that he put forth last night against a really, really good defensive team with a great defensive coach in Coach Hurley. It was a remarkable performance for sure.
All right, go ahead.
Coach, to build off of that, how do you feel like this matchup looks for your guys with the unique lineup that you have? A lot of guys that are similar maybe to Teddy Allen in size and physicality that you can throw at him.
Yeah, I think that, the thing with New Mexico State is, he's a dynamic scorer, talking about, the best offensive player in their league. But they also have two other all-league players as well. Their point guard, Rice, gives them, great size and great length and three-point shooting. But I think our philosophy has always been, I think that when every game, you have a decision to make. Do you try to make the opposing team's best players take difficult shots and maybe, spy on them a little bit, or do you try to shut down the other players and let those guys, as some coaches say, get theirs? I think, the people that have followed our team know that we put a high premium on trying to let our guys know, that we want to try to contain or make difficult decisions and difficult shots by guys that are star players on the other team. So, last night, Vermont's two best players had good games, although the second half was a different half for Davis. And it became a little bit more difficult for him. Shungju, we didn't maybe do quite as good a job. So we're it's such a short turnaround time. Unfortunately, I'm not going to feel as comfortable going into this game as I did even yesterday. I mean, we had some days to prepare for Vermont. That's not going to be the case. I mean, we didn't get back to our hotel room till 1 o'clock. By the time we ate, not up to right now, there hasn't been a lot of sleep with anybody on the coaching staff. We've always liked to go out to dinner, for instance. Tonight we're not going out to dinner. We have to eat in the hotel just because of time constraints and wanting to be able to watch more film. So our preparation, even from this moment on, is going to be much different. The way we practice today will be a lot less taxing than any practice that I've had since I've been in Arkansas.
Yeah, Coach, since Audice missed that Tennessee game, he's played 38, 39 in 40 minutes. And
Is that all?
You'd probably like to play him a little bit
Should
more,
have
I'm
played
sure.
him a few more.
Just what have you thought of the way that he's bounced back from that foot injury? And I guess he's given you a lift offensively. Obviously, you count on him a lot defensively, too. And maybe he's been even a little bit better lately than maybe pre-injury sometimes.
Yeah, I think his three, he's knocked down some big threes for us, which is always important, Scotty. Last night, late in the game, obviously, there was a concern when he tried to come out of the game. And the other four guys on the floor brushed me off and said, leave him in. It's a little bit maybe tender, but obviously he's going to play. But he's really vital to us because of his, offensive rebounding ability, his ability to basket cut, his ability now, like I said, he's hit some really big threes for us. And that stretches the game out for his four teammates as well. But defensively is people don't understand, like half the game's on offense, half of it's on defense. And so half the game, he's our most valuable player. Like literally, he has been our most valuable player at the defensive end.
Stephen Wagner, Las Cruces Sun News. Coach, whenever you're going up against an opponent who the last game had one player take almost literally half of their shots, he had 24 of their 50 shot attempts, do you feel like that's something that makes New Mexico State maybe a little bit one-dimensional, especially whenever you see the imbalance in the scoring just on the stat sheet?
No, I was really impressed with it. I thought it was really cool, to be honest with you, that New Mexico State found a hot hand, and the other four guys on the team were so selfless that they kept feeding him. Sometimes teams will come down the floor and do that for 2 or 3 possessions, and then somebody will take a shot just because they think it's his turn. I thought what Coach Jans did and the guys on the floor was really cool. It was reminiscent of teammates understanding that a guy was cooking and to let him roll. So I don't look at it like it was one-dimensional. I look at it like it was freaking genius, to be quite honest. If we have somebody roll like that, we're going to stand around and watch him too go off.
Hey, Eric, hope your shoulder's feeling better today. I wanted to ask a couple things about Devo. One, he played 20 minutes against Tennessee. I know he didn't play very well. And then he only played 5 against LSU in the tournament. I think that's the fewest minutes he's played in back-to-back games. You know, some guys who was playing as much as he did, they might, I don't know, sulk or pout or whatever. He didn't seem like he did that. He's played really well the last couple games. How do you think he handled that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, every game takes on a new identity. Every game takes on new matchups. I mean, I came into the game last night when I looked around the locker room, like, who do I, you know, we're getting ready to go out and play in a building and on a national stage. Like, who do I know that's done this with me? And it's, you know, Jay Will and JD and Devo. And so going into the game, whether it's fair or not, probably not fair, those were the guys that I was going to be comfortable with during the course of the game. And obviously the minutes that Devo played were starter minutes. Probably more minutes than a lot of guys that start across the country in this tournament so far. So I had belief, Bob, that he would be a competitor, try to help the team win. Because the one thing our locker room understands is when you lose, you're done, and nobody gets notoriety. It's over. And our guys want to continue. Everybody likes the limelight, or everybody likes the spotlight, or everybody likes to play another game. And the only way to do that from this moment on is to play as a team and to play with great competitiveness. And he's exemplifies that.
I guess Mike put all these stats together. Devo's averaging 14.2 points in 5 NCAA tournament games. I think he's averaging 7 or 8 in the rest of the games he plays. Not bad, but, you know, obviously not double.
Maybe we can put the NCAA logo on our floor at Bud Walton and dress up our road locker room with the same signage as we have here.
But what do you think that is? They'd make you put your Pepsi in a cup, though. You know, what do you think about? What do you think?
How do you know it was Pepsi?
Well, it might have been Coke. Whatever you're drinking. But what do you think it is about him that, you know, he did last year? Now he's doing it again. What is it about him that, you know, he goes off like that in these games?
I mean, some guys just have that it factor. Some guys just, you know, some guys when they walk in a room are cool, and some guys on a basketball floor, when the lights are bright, play, you know, and up to this point, meaning last year, it wasn't just last year in the tournament. I thought he stepped up, like, you know, at Kentucky when he walking out of a huddle and saying, I'm going to get a steal, and, you know, gets a steal and a dunk. I mean, he because he's really confident. That's why he's able to do that. He has no self-doubt in his ability to play well.
Go ahead, Mike.
Mike Harrington, Buffalo News. Eric, before my real question, did you see your wife's Instagram story today?
I don't really know how to use Instagram. I shouldn't say that, but whenever I go to Instagram, I need one of my 2 sons around me. What did my wife do now?
Your head was superimposed on a tailgater jumping on a table outside a Bills game.
Okay, we sure it wasn't really me?
So the real question is, the Sabres I cover, they have forged a relationship with the Bills coaches and with Brandon, and coaches in general like to pick each other's brains. What did you want to get by going over there today, and what was your impression of just meeting with them and talking to them?
So it was kind of set up a few days ago that I was, you know, going to go over there and see the stadium and see the practice site. My wife is actually friends with Lorenzo Alexander's wife, Manjanit. And so she was trying to help me meet Sean, and then someone on staff, Hayes Myers, is actually related to Kyle Williams. So Hayes was working his angle with Kyle Williams, and Danielle was trying to work her stuff through Lorenzo. And so we were able to go in and see the stadium, see the practice site, and then Coach was nice enough to come, as was Brandon, and we talked philosophy for quite some time. I thought maybe we talked for 3 or 4 minutes, but we really got into some leadership stuff, which was really, really cool. Completely blown away with how nice and the time that both those guys gave, not only myself, but my son, and we had a few other staff members. So we exchanged phone numbers. We've exchanged text messages since I left. And I look forward, and I truly believe that sometime down the road, we will end up either doing a Zoom together with maybe some other coaches, or maybe just the two of us talking philosophy, because we talked about dealing with media after a win or after a loss. We talked about a whole bunch of things, which I know I learned. He didn't probably learn anything from me, but I learned some stuff from him for sure.
You were here?
Hey, Eric, feel free to tell me if I'm maybe off base here, but do you get maybe some Mason Jones vibes watching Teddy Allen, just in terms of, like, maybe not the most vertically gifted athletes, but crafty and just wired to score?
Yeah, I think that's a great comparison, Scotty. It really is. I don't know where you want me to go with it, but I give you an A+ on that observation. Yeah, I was just giving him the ball every time and trying to tell everybody to get out of his way. So, I guess, both guys will break plays, and create for themselves. And we showed a whole highlight clip today of his passes too. Like he knows how to thread the needle on a bounce pass. In pick and roll coverage, if you jump out there too early or too quickly, So yeah, I think there are a lot of his transition ability to score. Like, where are you going to pick him up? You're going to pick him up at half court. You're going to pick him up at the 3-point line. You're going to pick him up 2 feet outside the three. Those are all decisions that you've got to make, much as the decisions that opponents had to make with Mason.
Over here first, and then we'll go back to you.
Colin Deaver with KTSM TV in El Paso. We cover New Mexico State because it's about 30 minutes up the road. We also cover UTEP, and a guy who was on your staff last year, Earl Boykins, is obviously at UTEP now. They played New Mexico State twice. Did you hit up Earl at all in the last 24 hours for some film or advice on how to guard?
Earl was
New
on
Mexico State?
speakerphone last night.
Was he really?
Oh yeah, sure. He might not want me to say that, but yeah, he was on speakerphone.
Now the whole world knows.
Huh?
Now the whole world knows.
Yeah, I hope his jumper's still good like it was. Hope he's not losing his touch.
I was just kidding about the NCAA Cup, and you guys are cool with that. And I think you were drinking Diet Coke. I think that's the official Coke, or the soda or whatever. But you guys only had 5 turnovers last night. I didn't know. Mike told me that's an NCAA tournament record for Arkansas. It's played, like 7.
Mike was actually doing his job.
Yeah, I was sitting next to him. He was telling me stuff. But that's an NCAA record. Obviously, Arkansas's had a lot of good teams, and before the shot clock and 3-pointer and all that. But what do you think about only having 5 turnovers? And Stanley plays 40 minutes, and he basically fills up every category except turnovers. He had 0.
It's hard to turn it over when you shoot it. Yeah. When you got it.
I guess what would you think about his game, ball handling wise, and what did you think about how your team handled the ball?
Stan was awesome. He keeps getting better and better and better and better with each game. And the one area that we wanted him to improve on was taking care of the ball, was ball handling. That's been a big part of his player development since he's arrived on campus. And he's doing ball handling drills throughout the course of the summer. He's basically gone from a power forward / small ball 5 to playing the 2-3 for us. He's improved so much defensively and improved on valuing the basketball as well. He's become a complete player. When he came to Arkansas, he was a dominant offensive player, and I think that's how maybe internally he valued his importance to the team, was scoring. Now he understands blocking shots, not turning the ball over, extra rotations, stunting if the ball is dribbled. All those things have become part of his game. And although my dad is not living anymore, we don't play the style that he would like, but he probably would have really liked us not turning the ball over, because that was like a staple of his, and because he was a football coach. And obviously in football, turnovers kill you. But to have only 5 turnovers in a game, especially against a team that Vermont's so well coached. I can't compliment, the execution that they have on both sides of the ball. So 5 turnovers, incredible.
Chris James was just in here telling kind of a funny story that his first interaction with you was, I think, many years ago at a Final Four, and you guys were basically working out next to each other on a treadmill, and he basically said, you were lapping him tenfold. Do you remember that at all?
I mean, I lap a lot of people. No, I'm just kidding. I do remember it. I mean, I can, the cool thing about, Final Fours and coaching conventions, or if it's the Nike retreat, is you develop some relationships and some funny stories and outside of the competition. But Coach, I have incredible respect for him. Like, his teams are always tough. They're always hard-nosed. They take on his personality. I think he's one of the best coaches in the country. I like what he does with his team offensively. They're always tough on the backboards. But yeah, I do remember. He was sweating pretty good too. I don't know if he told you that.
All right, any other questions for Coach? Oh, here we go.
Hey, Eric, I had a follow-up on Devo, too. How much did that run that he helped you guys go on? I mean, he played so well last year in Indianapolis. How much do you think that helped him have a real good game last night?
Yeah, I think for sure, Bob, that he's probably sitting in that locker room pregame, and he's probably looking around, and he's saying, hey, Jay Will and JD, like, we got to play, because those are the guys that had proven it at this level, at this stage. And he stepped up to the occasion. I mean, with JD out, like, we needed somebody to score, and we needed somebody to run our offense and do it with precision and not turn the ball over. So when you bring up the 5 turnovers, and then you add in the fact that JD Notae was out for a lot of the first half, who's our primary ball handler, tells you the job Devo did really on both sides of the ball.
Okay.
Eric, if my research is right, I think JD's scored 10 or more points in the second half 8 times this year after he's picked up 2 fouls in the first half. How does he do that? Is it just you guys being more deliberate with shot selection and, he's kind of running things, or does he just really regroup at half?
I mean, I think he gets to regroup, but I mean, he's I mean, if we went and played right now, he'd figure out a way to score 15. I mean, he could be dead tired. Like, he's just wired different, I mean, some guys like to shoot at 8 in the morning. Some like to shoot at 8 at night. I think he's perfectly comfortable coming in the gym at 2 in the morning and thinks it's abnormal. And why you asking me why I shot at 2 in the morning? Like, I'm just trying to get better. And he's just that guy. Like, so to answer your question, Scotty, I don't think 2 fouls affects him. I mean, I think he's sitting there going, Coach, why am I not playing? Like, I only have 2, I'm allowed 5. And he doesn't understand that we still got 35 minutes to play or whatever.
Anything else for Coach Musselman? All right, thank you for your time. Good luck tomorrow.
I can't say. I don't want to get in trouble.
Just a reminder, a recording of this press conference will be available in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.veritone.com. Transcripts